There was a time when the different parts of the human body each had the power of speech, and each of them took exception to the behaviour of the belly. All he does is consume, said the feet, and grow fat, said the knees, making our job more difficult. Yes, he's just selfish, said the ears. Exactly, said the teeth, expecting us to labour away while he does nothing. And so the parts of the body held a conference and agreed that they would no longer supply the belly with the food it so clearly did not deserve. The hands announced that they would not lift a finger to keep it from starving. The mouth said, "May I never speak again if I take in another morsel destined for him." "We shall rot," said the teeth, "before we chew anything headed his way." The elbows and the ankles and the fingernails all cheered. Well, they kept this solemn covenant as long as they could. But before long, oh dear, the hands could scarcely move. The knees buckled under the weight of their burden. The mouth became parched and dry. The cheeks all but disappeared. And all came to realize that each individual has a part to play in a healthy whole. Welcome to the season finale of Breakfast with Aesop. So, over the last couple of weeks, we've had lions, mice, frogs, dogs, wolves, foxes, cats, a crocodile, a snake. We've even had an oyster. But what animal have we not covered? Man. The human animal, the naked ape. So, first of all, let's learn some Greek. The Greek word for man is anthropos, and that means man as in mankind, as in a human being, as opposed to a male human being. So say it after me, anthropos. Anthropos. It's quite pleasant to say. Now, there was a branch of studies called anthropology, which is the study of human habits and culture. I wonder if Aesop could have been classed as an anthropologist. Now, in ancient Greek mythology, you probably know that there were figures who straddled both the natures of men and animals. You've probably heard of the centaur. He was half horse, half man, or the minotaur, which was a monster with the body of a man and the head of a bull. Well, in the next story, we meet another of these crossbreeds, the satyr. Now, the satyr is a wild fellow. He's usually shown as half man, half goat, bridging this gap between men and animals. Satyrs often live in woodlands. It was a very severe winter, and a traveller was making his way through the snowy forest towards his home. He was looking forward to the warm fire and bowl of stew that he knew would be waiting for him when he got there. As he passed a cleft between two rocks, he heard a wheezing and and a coughing and a gasping. Looking in, he was astonished to see an old satyr huddling under a flimsy piece of cloth, shivering with cold. Well, he took pity on the poor creature and insisted that he come back to his half. "Oh, you poor fellow, here, use my gloves." Well, the satyr was very grateful and went along with the good fellow. "Oh, gosh, it really is very cold, isn't it?" said the man by way of small talk, and he blew into his hands. "What are you doing?" said the satyr. What do you mean?" "This." "What?" "Oh, I'm just blowing on my hands to warm them up. It's very cold." "Really? Wow." The satyr seemed very impressed. Well, they made it to the man's house. It was a simple cottage, but there was a wood burner and a stove and a pot of steaming stew on top of it. "Here, sit down by the fire," said the man, and he brought over 2 bowls of stew. Bon appetit, he said as he tucked in. Oh, it's hot. What are you doing? Said the satyr, aghast. What? Oh, I was sorry. I was just cooling down my stew. It's a bit hot. The satyr shot to its feet and made for the door. Where are you going? Said the man. As far away from here as possible, said the satyr. I'll have nothing to do with a man who blows hot and cold with the same breath. The man who talks with both sides is not to be trusted. Now, it has become customary to end each episode of Breakfast with Aesop with something a little macabre or violent, perhaps even upsetting. But let's end the season a little less pessimistically, only a little perhaps, but with a fable that shows how closely Aesop saw the relationship between his animals and men. Because after all, what are the animals in all the stories I've told but men in disguise? Imagine the same wintry scene as in the previous story. Horse, ox, and dog were suffering terribly in the cold and sought shelter and protection from man. Man received them kindly, lighted a fire, and warmed them up. He let horse make free with his oats. He gave ox an abundance of hay, and he fed the dog with meat from his own table. Grateful for these favours, the animals determined to repay him as best they could. So they divided the term of his life between them, and each endowed one portion of man's life with the qualities which chiefly characterized himself. So horse chose his early years, and hence every man is in his youth impetuous, headstrong, and obstinate in maintaining his own opinion. Ox took under his patronage the next term of life, and therefore man in his middle age is fond of work, devoted to labour, and resolute to amass wealth and to husband his resources. The end of the life was reserved for dog, and that is why an old man is often snappish and irritable, hard to please and selfish, tolerant of his own household, but averse to strangers and to all who do not administer to his own comfort and necessities. Hmm. Is Aesop right, do you think? Well, thank you for your company over the last couple of weeks, particularly to all who've sent messages. Now, I'm not sure yet whether a second season is going to be commissioned of Breakfast with Aesop, but this is not goodbye, because there will be a special Breakfast with Aesop edition at 10 a.m. on Easter Day. So tune in then, Sunday, 12th of April, 10 a.m. We'll crack open an egg together. And next week begins season one of Noonday Nonsense. This is nonsense poetry for all ages, midday, Monday to Friday, same Facebook page as you're watching now. I hope to see you then. Bye bye.